Om Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Satya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam online classes. I think all of you are fresh. You eaten nicely. Come on, sit straight. Open your books and pens. Most importantly, open your minds. Okay. Now today we are going to study a very important, interesting topic. And before coming to the topic, let us see what we know about that. Can you tell me what are the 5 basic things which all human beings need? Come on. Yes. First one is air, then water, then food, is it not? Then shelter. So air, water, food, shelter, clothing. These are the 5 basic things every human being need, is it not? And we know all of you are living, right? Is there anybody have a doubt that you are living or not? No doubt. All are living, na? Okay. Your bright faces are telling you are living. And if you want to say that you are living, it means we are breathing. And while breathing, what are the gases? Inhale means what? Taking in. And exhale means giving out. And the process of breathing is called respiration. Can you tell me the gases? Okay, all of you know it. It's very simple. Oxygen is the gas what we take inside. And carbon dioxide is the gas we exhale. Is it not? See the wonderful mechanism of our body. So we have to be grateful to the divine God who has created all of us. Such a wonderful mechanism. In the atmosphere we have got many gases, out of which only oxygen is taken in. See the selection of the nose. And while giving out, carbon dioxide is liberated. So this is a thing we already know it. Can you tell me what are the gases present in air? And as all of us know, one is nitrogen, second is oxygen, third is carbon dioxide. Inert gases. Can you name some inert gases? Okay, you are right. You have helium, argon, neon, etc., etc. These are called inert gases. They means they are not active. So these are some of the gases present in the air around us. Okay, and ancient philosophers believe that our body is made up of Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas. What are they? Air, water, fire, earth, space. In Sanskrit we call it as Vayu, and this is Jalam and Agni, Prithvi, Akasha. So our body is made up of Panchabhutas. Okay, in that, which is the most vital of all these, air is the most vital, more active and more important in our Panchabhutas, in our body. The role of air is very, very important. Okay. And also we have seen the uses of air in our previous classes. What are they? This is called as Pranavayu. Can you tell one name of the form of God? Yes, it is Hanuman, Viranjaneya. Is it not? He is the son of Vayu. So here Pranavayu means our body, is living because of the important item called prana, and that prana is existing because of the oxygen what we take. So all the animals, including human beings, want this pranavayu. Even plants also, for breathing they use oxygen. For photosynthesis, what is photosynthesis? Yes, preparation of food. And when you say preparation of food in plants, they require 4 important things. One is carbon dioxide, another is water, what we call it as mineral water. Then you have chlorophyll, is it not? And the most important is sunlight. When all these 4 are there, plants will prepare food, and that is what is called as photosynthesis. Photo means light, light means sunlight. Okay. So these are some of the important uses of air. Also for combustion. Combustion is a process of using oxygen for burning purpose. We have seen paper burning, all wastes being burning, firewood burning, and even in laboratory you have sulfur burning, phosphorus burning, and so on. All these, oxygen is important, or air is important. Okay. And what is the blanket of air around us is called? See, all around us we have got a blanket of air. This is called atmosphere. Note the spelling, ATMOSPHERE. It is a spherical, look like spherical. It is not really spherical. It is empty space what you can find there. So here it contains the mixture of gases, is it not? And this blanket of air is called atmosphere. Now let us see what are the gases present in air and also what percentage they are. So name the different gases present in the atmosphere and their composition, means how much percentage they are there. So for that one list is there. For example, nitrogen contains, its formula is N2, molecular formula, and it is 78.03%. So major portion is nitrogen. Then it is followed by oxygen, O2, 20.09%. Then it is followed by argon, 0.94%. It is inert gas. Carbon dioxide, CO2, 0.033%. Inert gases like neon, helium, krypton, xenon, etc., 0.0020. So this is the composition by volume. So which is the first prize? First prize goes to nitrogen. Okay. and that is called composition of air. Now a question will arise whether air is a mixture or a compound. We studied about this in earlier classes, class 7th, 8th and all. So it is a mixture because of two or more gases, as the gases are not chemically bonded, but they are physically mixed with one another. So this is one pie chart, what we call sector graph. Here it shows blue color shows nitrogen, this green color shows oxygen, this is argon and other gases, carbon dioxide, and also there is water vapor, they are not shown, and it varies from place to place. So it is a mixture. So what is the difference between mixture and a compound? Compound, the particles or the components cannot be separated easily, whereas in mixture you can separate the components easily. Okay, and in compound they are chemically bounded. For example, if you take hydrogen, water, hydrogen and oxygen are chemically bounded. Here there is no chemical bondage, they are simply mixed, and the percentage also varies from place to place, little percentage varies. So this is your food for thought, and now we will have a small experiment. Okay, you have done some experiments in your previous class about presence of oxygen, is it not? Similarly, today we will see about a experiment to show the presence of carbon dioxide in air. For that we have a test tube or a glass tumbler. Okay, then you want freshly prepared lime water. Lime water means what? It is calcium hydroxide. How you will get it? You have seen chunam, what they sell in roadside, na? That you add it to water, it becomes lime water. You might have seen, if your grandparents are eating betel nuts, betel leaves, you get that chunam is brought, they put in a vessel, it may be usually a earthen pot, and then chunam is taken and water is added to it. So immediately starts boiling. Have you seen it? Okay. Then you see the hard chunam what is there, that is calcium oxide, becomes what is called lime water, and it is calcium hydroxide. So after 1 or 2 days you find a clear water coming up, and all chunam will go down, and that becomes calcium hydroxide. The water is called lime water. Then you have a cork with 2 holes. So when you take a test tube, you should have a 2-hole rubber cork, okay, and 2 glass tube or straw pipes bent at right angles. So you have a 2 bent tubes, okay. And how to do it? Take about 4 ml of freshly prepared lime water in a test tube. 4 ml means little quantity, you should not take more. A cork is fixed having 2 holes in the mouth of the test tube or glass tumbler, so that it is airtight. For making airtight, what you must do? Use some Vaseline or grease or something like that. So how to do it? The method is 2 tubes are fixed in 2 holes in such a way that only one is dipped in lime water, while the other remains above the lime water. See here, this is the figure. This is in case of glass tumbler, this is in case of test tube, any one, and it is a cork tightly fitted with the 2 holes. One hole is having 2 glass tubes. You must keep it, this is called bent tube. You must know difference between tube and a rod. Glass rod is, there is no hole inside. Glass tube means it has a hole inside. Okay, it is perpendicular here. Okay, here one of the bent tube should dip in the lime water, and another one is above this. So what you have to do is, you have to suck by mouth. So when you suck it by mouth, what happens? Two tubes are fixed in two holes in such a way that only one is dipped in lime water. This is dipped in lime water, other one remains above the lime. Now suck the air through the tube which is not dipping in lime water. So here you have to suck air by mouth. So what happens? So what is the solution here? This lime water, okay. And here the covering may be in thermocol also, anyone is okay. And then what do you observe? Due to suction, the air pressure within the test tube falls. So to compensate this fall in pressure, air from outside enters into the tube dipping in lime water and bubbles through it. So outside should enter this, and there will be bubble seen inside the lime water. What is that bubble? You see that after a minute lime water turns milky. The clear solution of lime becomes milky because of presence of carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide turns the lime water milky. How was it in the beginning? It was clear, and the clear water become milky in nature. So what does it show? It shows the presence of carbon dioxide in the air. Okay. So it is a very interesting experiment. You can do in home also and try. And will a small concentration of carbon dioxide in air be able to turn lime water milky? You check the answer from elders or from the books. So small carbon dioxide, it will also work or not. You can try it. It's a very interesting, very simple experiment. Now we will see some uses of oxygen. Oxygen is necessary for respiration in all living beings. Even worms also want oxygen. Animals, birds, human beings, everything needs oxygen for respiration. It is a supporter of combustion. So burning of objects is possible because of oxygen. This is how oxygen is given in hospitals. So this comes in a form of pipe, especially when a person or a patient has a breathing problem. Oxygen is supplied from cylinders. There will be separate cylinders, and a pipe will come with a kind of mask here, and they will keep near the nose. And there are some more uses. One of the interesting uses is liquid oxygen is used as oxidant in the rockets to burn the fuel. What is a rocket? Rocket is a device which carries satellites, sometimes human beings also, to the space. And how does it move? It moves by the principle of Newton's third law. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. And what will be the velocity? Starting velocity is about 2 km per second, and after some time, when it crosses the Earth's atmosphere, it will be about 11.2 km per second. That is called escape velocity. Okay, in that fuel will be, there are different kinds of fuels. One of the fuel is liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. Okay, there are three kinds of fuel: solid fuel, liquid fuel, gaseous fuel. So we are telling about gaseous fuel. So liquid oxygen is used. Then there are some more uses of oxygen. For aquatic life, oxygen is dissolved in water is necessary. Aquatic life means it may be plants, it may be fishes, it may be tortoise, it may be, come on, what is that? Crocodiles. All these are called aquatic animals. Can you name the biggest animal in the world? Yes, it is blue whale. Blue whale is the biggest animal in the world, weighs some tons. And where do you get it? It will be present in the seashore, inside the sea, is it not? So this is what is called as aquarium. And in this aquarium, how to do it? You can also do it in your home. Take a big rectangular glass container and you take some water in it, say 3/4 of it, and in that you can have some plants like this. This is called aquatic plants, and also you can have a colored fishes. Do you tell me why it is bigger in size? Some of you may be having in your home, or you can try yourself. You can take in a bottle, simple, put some colored fishes and observe the size of these fishes. To be big in size. Why? That is because of refraction of light, which you are going to study in the light chapter. Okay. So here what we want to tell you, bring to your notice, is that this is called aquatic life. The plants and the fishes, etc., which are present inside the container, they live with the oxygen. How to get the oxygen? That is by water. As all of us know, water contains hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio of 2:1. Is it not? So this will be dissolved in water and that oxygen is taken. Okay. Now coming to some more uses of oxygen. So beautiful. See here, you have oxygen cylinders. This is called oxygen cylinder, carried by climbers during the high altitude climbing, and fireman. This is a fireman. He works on fire. So he has a oxygen here behind and it is connected to his nose, because when you are using fighting against fire, and they will be suffocated. So to get fresh oxygen, they will have oxygen cylinders and it is connected to the nose. And what they do, there are so many methods of controlling fire. They can pass water or they can pass carbon dioxide and so on, is it not? So for fire fighting, they use oxygen cylinders that we usually kept in the backside. Even those who climb the hillocks, when you go to high altitude, oxygen will be less and less. There also they use oxygen cylinders, otherwise their life becomes very difficult without oxygen properly. And want to see some more? Rusting of iron takes place in the presence of oxygen in water. Iron gets rusted in moist air, by which a brown layer of ferric oxide is formed. And this rusting of iron, I think most of you have seen it, happens in the rainy season only. Can you tell me why? Not in summer, not in winter also, because it needs oxygen and water, or you can say moist air. The moist air is present in rainy season, and a brown layer will be formed on the iron. And what is the brown layer made up of? It is made up of ferric oxide. What is the formula of ferric oxide? Fe2O3, you can write it as XH2O. H2O is water. X because it varies. So here it happens in any scene. This is how a material will be rusted. How to avoid rusting? You can use sandpaper and brush it off. Or if you paint it, see so many of your windows and doors are painted. Have you seen it? One of the reason is when there is a metallic, like this metallic instruments, it should be painted. Then it will be free from rusting. Okay, this type of brown layer will be formed. That is called rusting of iron. Here the presence of oxygen does it so. Okay, can you list any two rusted items that you have seen recently? Similar to iron, name two other elements which also get rusted in the moist air. Now let us see medical uses of oxygen. Oxygen is given to the patient suffering from asthma or gas poisoning and for artificial respiration in hospitals. See, this is artificial respiration. This is natural, not natural. Especially when the surgery has to take place, they will use, especially oxygen. Asthma is a disease of lungs. There is no supply of oxygen properly. So we have to be grateful for the master for giving you good health. You do not see how our brain works, how our eyes working, ears, tongue, all this. You have to be grateful to the master. That is why you must do prayers. Are you doing prayers daily? Yes, you have to do prayers both morning and evening at least. And if our body fails to get sufficient oxygen, they will give from artificial respiration, not natural. And also you have heard about anesthesia. What is anesthesia? Anesthesia is a substance which is given to a patient during operation. How many have the experience of operation? Come on. Operation means cutting open your body. Different parts of the body are cut open. That is called operation. And then they will stitch it. After cutting out unnecessary things, they stitch it, okay. There, the particular part of the body is, it will be very much paining. To avoid that pain, they use what is called as anesthesia. For anesthesia, they will use a mixture of oxygen and nitrous oxide, also called as laughing gas. You may be interested to hear the word laughing gas. So if you just smell that gas, you will be tempted to laugh more and more. Then you may ask where it is available, how to prepare. All those we study later. Anyway, the mixture of oxygen and nitrous oxide in proper proportion will be used as anesthesia for operations, and you will not feel the pain of operation. That is the main purpose of it. Okay. Then let us see the large uses of oxygen or industrial uses. In steel industry, see, this is the steel industry. What is steel? Steel is a mixture of mainly iron and carbon. That carbon must be present in a different proportions, starting from 0.3%. two different percentages. The mixture of these two is called as steel. This, can you name the factory in Karnataka where steel is manufactured? Yes, it is in Bhadravati. We call it as VSIL, Vishwesvaraya Steel and VISL, Iron and Steel Limited. So, wherever there is iron, extraction of iron, there will be steel also will be there. So, they add suitable quantity of carbon to iron. So, this is one of the processes, and this is called Bessemer process. Here oxygen is used, and for manufacture of steel, they use oxygen in blowers. So, in a large scale, and also oxygen is used for manufacture of sulfuric acid from sulfur, nitric acid from ammonia. Sulfuric acid is H2SO4 and nitric acid is HNO3. So, nitric acid, there are very famous three acids. One is nitric acid, formula HNO3. Second is sulfuric acid, formula H2SO4. And third one is hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, formula is HCl. So, all these acids, especially nitric acid, is prepared from ammonia by the help of oxygen. Sulfuric acid prepared from sulfur by the help of oxygen. Sulfur is converted into sulfur trioxide, then to sulfuric acid. Okay. For all these, oxygen is used. Okay. And one more industrial use, a large scale use of oxygen is cutting and welding purpose. You have seen, no, doors, windows, gates especially, you might have seen. There, sometimes you have to weld it, sometimes you have to cut it, rods, iron rods, difficult to do in hand. So, they use what is called as oxyacetylene flame. So, this is a cylinder here, oxygen cylinder. Similarly, there will be one more, acetylene. So, and acetylene is C2H2. So, oxygen and acetylene is mixed. It produces a very high temperature of the order of about 3500 degrees Celsius around. And see, like this, there will be rods here, they are called welding rods. You might have seen welding shops. So, very high temperature is produced that they use for welding purpose. Okay. So, for cutting metals and also for welding purpose, they use oxygen, okay, to get a very high temperature. So, that is also one of the important uses of oxygen. Now, we have to think one important thing, why there is more nitrogen than oxygen in the air. See, we want oxygen for breathing purpose, okay, but why nitrogen is more? Let us see why it is. You can also think on these lines. There is more oxygen than nitrogen on earth, about 500,000 times more. But most oxygen is combined form in earth's crust and water. Which water? Sea water and the well water. All the sources of water contains oxygen. Oxygen can react with almost anything to form compounds, and which is the reason why life is possible on this planet. Nitrogen is present in a free state in the atmosphere because it is very stable and unreactive due to the triple bond. For it is to react, it requires very high temperatures or specialized catalyst. So, nitrogen has triple bond, so it is unreactive, and also think of some other reasons we will see in the next class. Okay, think of the reason for that, and let us see some interesting fact about air. There is life in air. Do you know that living organisms can also be found hanging out in the air? These tiny microbial organisms, means very small organisms, are called bioaerosols. Bioaerosols. Aerosols means that they are flying in the air. Although these microbes can't fly, they can travel long distances through the air, namely wind, rain, etc. Even when you sneeze, something comes out, is it not? That microbes will go from one place to another in the help of air. Air is a protective cushion in our atmosphere, acts as an insulation, keeping the earth from getting too cold or too hot. Ozone, another type of gas in the air, also protects us from the too much sunlight, and air in the atmosphere can also protect us from the meteoroids. Here one important point you must note, this ozone. Ozone is another form of oxygen. Oxygen is O2, ozone is rich in oxygen, it is a layer, it is called ozone layer. It is a protective layer for earth. What does it do? It avoids the ultraviolet rays coming in, falling on earth. Okay, and air can move fast and far, even on a very silly, and even on a still day, air around us is always moving, but when a big wind comes, that air can really go very fast. The fastest gust of wind ever recorded on earth is about 253 miles per hour, and it picks up all kinds of things along the way. So, 253 miles per hour, please note. Your bike can go up to 80 to 100 kilometers, is it not? But it is 253 miles, such a speed it can go. And while going, what does it do? It takes all light materials like paper or wooden, the tree, all the leaves of the tree will be pushed off. Here I am reminded of one interesting thing. Shall I tell you now? Okay, but you must sit straight. Once one kabaddi match was going on in the primary class. Class 5 boys were playing with the class 6 boys. A very small boy by name Subhash. Suddenly this wind came in the form of a circular wind, and all boys ran out by seeing the wind. It was a very hot summer. This guy Subhash, he felt that I will stand here only, what will happen? The wind was circling, you might have seen in the summer time. He stood there only. Because he was short and thin, he was lifted up. That guy lifted up. Luckily for him, there was a tree near him. So he caught hold of the tree, and the air lifted him up and made him to stick on to that tree, and went off. Luckily he was safe because of the tree there, and then he came down slowly with the help of your friends. Why I am telling is that air will go in such a speed, and it will be very strong also. When you can lift a boy of class 5, and you can imagine the strength of the air. So these are some interesting facts about air. So it can move fast also, and it can move far also. Even in deserts you might have heard, all the wind will be going in such a speed, and while going air will take the sand also with it from one place to another. So, these are some of the interesting facts about air. Now, let us see what Baba says. Bhagavan Baba, the incarnation of the Kali Yuga, he says, if you sing alone in your shrine, the vibrations return to you as a reaction. But in community singing, what you have is not a reaction, but a wave of vibration. They enter into the atmosphere and purify the polluted air. So, in a group singing, what happens? If you sing bhajans, or you play instruments, all the atmosphere around us will be purified. So, that is why you must do bhajans or chant shlokas in groups, and that will purify the whole atmosphere. How do the vibrations from community singing or bhajans help purify the polluted air? How does it do? And you must think on that, and it is a true fact that singing of bhajan, that namasmarana, what you call names of the Lord, will be in the air, and that will be spread throughout. Wherever the wind goes, that namasmarana goes and it purifies the atmosphere. It solves many problems. So, that is why we have to chant or participate in bhajans, group bhajans. Okay. Now, let us see some home assignment. Air is a dash, element, compound, mixture, or none of the above. You must fill it up. Second, name the major constituents of air. Which constituents are inevitable for survival of plants and animals? Third, if you were to compare the relative amounts of nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere, which will be the 4 times the other? Okay. Lastly, air also contains water vapor, but is its percentage in air the same at all places? Together with oxygen, nitrogen and inert gases, it has got water vapor also. Is it same all places or not? Okay. So, these are the home assignment. Come prepared. Thank you.